Now at 6, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
And good evening, and thanks for joining us for the news at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. New tonight, a recent court ruling puts the issue of guns in state parks in Connecticut's crosshairs.
Fox 61's Matt Karen is at Pinwood State Park in Bloomfield to tell us about the legal battle now underway. Matt.
Well, as the weather gets nicer, more people are heading outside. And of course, Connecticut state parks are a popular destination. But should the people who frequent them be allowed to carry a firearm? A federal appeals court overturned a lower court decision last week that upheld Connecticut's law banning guns in state parks.
The Second Circuit agreed with us.
Attorney Cameron Atkinson successfully argued the case, claiming the state law violates the Second and 14th Amendments.
No doubt in my mind that there's no historical support for this law and that it should be declared unconstitutional.
In this 9-page summary judgment, the court said, "We have considered the state's arguments and find them to be without merit." But people in parks told Fox 61 they wouldn't feel comfortable around a firearm.
I don't think there's a good reason to have a gun in a park. I just think it's as I mentioned before, a potential accident waiting to happen. We take our kids here, our grandkids and so forth here, and I don't want to have a gun around. The State Department of Energy and Environmental Protection argued the law is old and officials don't even enforce it. Yet on March 19th, DEEP confirmed it responded to Sleeping Giant State Park in Hamden for a report that an individual brandished a weapon.
We're asking the courts to give us the right to protect ourselves back in state parks.
There's other ways to protect yourself, and there's, if you feel like you're ever in danger, you could always make a plan for yourself.
Despite parts of the ban dating back to 1918, the entire statute was enacted in 1993 and most recently amended in 2017. It's hard to see how that would make it so outdated as to suggest the state is no longer enforcing it, said the court. Now, this ruling doesn't mean that guns are all of a sudden legal in state parks, but it does reopen the issue for further debate. As we traveled to state parks today, we saw some signs that said no hunting state park, but even that isn't true because if you go on DEEP's website, it says that hunting is allowed for certain animals with certain weapons during certain seasons at certain state parks. You can log on to our website, fox61.com, for more information on that. Reporting in Bloomfield, Matt Karen, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Well, the 52-year-old man accused of stealing a car with a child inside in Massachusetts and then driving that car to Connecticut was in court today. Vadim Vorobyov allegedly stole that car in Chicopee on Friday. He is seen on surveillance camera dropping off the 3-year-old outside the Roadway Inn in East Windsor. Thankfully, the boy was found by a man walking his dog. Vorobyov then drove 5 miles to the nearby Target parking lot, ditched the car and ran into several businesses before being arrested inside the Dollar Tree store. He is currently in custody here in Connecticut with an $800,000 bail, but will be extradited to Massachusetts at some point for trial. Officers say license plate readers and quick communication played a pivotal role in making this quick arrest.
Now a look at a long-awaited plan to curb gun violence in the capital city. Mayor Arunan Arulampalam has been hinting at a new plan to lower crime for weeks now. He unveiled all the details this morning.
Fox 61's Lindsay Kane is in Hartford with more on the plan for the new Office of Violence Prevention.
This plan is something we've been following for months now since the mayor's State of the City address. Now, the goal is to lower crime here in the capital city using the new Office of Violence Prevention.
We believe in safer and stronger communities.
One of the first big plans for Mayor Arunan Arulampalam's office is to crack down on crime in Hartford. The new Office of Violence Prevention, spearheaded by Siobhan Campbell, will work with existing organizations to curb violence at the root level.
The mission is to provide community or a safer community.
Mayor Arulampalam says getting illegal guns off the streets is also a top priority. Right now, 57% of guns used in Hartford crimes are from out of state. As of today, there have been 14 shooting victims so far this year. Last year, for the entire year, there were 16. The mayor tells us the new initiative will make sure officers have the resources they need, will bring more community policing in neighborhoods, and will work to help formerly incarcerated people go back to society without returning to crime. A mission centered on communication between different nonprofits and organizations in the city, all with the same goal.
And if we can interrupt cycles of violence, so we're reaching people before 911 ever gets called, so we're reaching people before they ever get to those worst moments in their life, and we're interrupting the cycles of violence that have plagued this city for so long, then we can build a stronger and brighter and more resilient community together.
The Office of Violence Prevention is already up and running and has already had meetings with other nonprofits in the city in order to start this work to lower crime and shootings in Hartford. In Hartford, Lindsay Kane, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Hartford police say they were successful in preventing a street takeover over the weekend. Officers say they received a number of complaints about a group of about 100 people riding ATVs and dirt bikes. They say the group stopped traffic near Keeney Park in Hartford's north end on Saturday. Officers arrested 5 people, seized 4 ATVs, and said they got a gun off the street. We spoke to a Hartford man who says he's had a few close calls with street takeovers.
I've been caught in traffic a few times, and it's just hard to see because you see these young folks out there being reckless, and if they keep doing what they're doing, it could end up very bad for them.
If you come across one of these street takeovers, police say your safety should be your top priority here. They urge you not to confront the crowd, turn around, and find an alternate route. Time for a check on the forecast. A cloudy start to our week.
Which gave away to a little bit of sunshine and probably more than we're going to see for the rest of the week, right?
That's what we're hearing.
Here's meteorologist Rachel Frank. Rach?
Yeah, the clouds are going to take over, and we've got a wet week ahead with rounds of rain coming in starting tomorrow, continuing through Wednesday, and even some lingering showers for Thursday and Saturday. We're looking all the way ahead to the weekend. So yeah, find the umbrella, keep it handy. It's your best friend this week. We're anticipating about 2.5 inches of rain between Tuesday and Wednesday. Winds that could gust as high as 35 to 45 miles per hour heading into Wednesday night. I know I'm kind of skipping over tomorrow, but I just kind of wanted to put that on your radar, so to speak. And there's even a chance for a bit of wintry weather, especially in the higher elevations heading into later Wednesday night. And all of us could see a scattered rain or snow shower in spots on Thursday. So yeah, we've got some wintry weather, even though, it's April 1st. This is not an April Fool's Day joke. Temperatures right now are in the 50s for most of the state. We're quiet right now and no weather issues out there this evening. Our storm gathering steam in the middle of the country. Low temperatures tonight falling back close to 40 as we head towards daybreak tomorrow. Tomorrow, a dry but cloudy start to the day. We'll see a rising chance for rain as we head through the midday and into the afternoon. By this time, it is raining everywhere during the day tomorrow, and that rain will take us into Wednesday. We'll talk about the rain, the wind, flooding prospects, your full forecast, multifaceted event coming up.
Sounds delightful, Rachel. Thank you. All right, today is April 1st, which is also, of course, April Fool's Day, and state police are reminding residents to be on the lookout for scams today. Police are reminding you to be aware of anyone who asks you to pay with a gift card. If you're planning on making a donation, make sure to research the organization before doing so, and you should never verify bank account information with someone who contacts you. If you do get contacted, make sure to call your bank directly.
Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal wants tougher penalties for people who abuse animals. Today, he introduced Goldies Act, which is named after a neglected golden retriever in Iowa. The legislation would update the Animal Welfare Act to include protections for dogs in puppy mills. It requires the USDA to conduct better inspections of puppy mills and work with police to help animals who are in need.
Well, the month of April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month, and police across Connecticut are wasting no time cracking down. Police, the Department of Transportation, and federal officials are starting an enforcement campaign called You Drive, You Text, You Pay. Officials want you to stay off your phone while driving. Data shows nearly 5,200 crashes in Connecticut in 2022 were the result of distracted driving. Police recommend turning off electronic devices and putting them out of reach before starting to drive. If you have to send a text or talk to someone, pull over. And remember, state law bans the use of a handheld device while behind the wheel.
New tonight with polls for the presidential primary here in Connecticut opening in just 12 hours. State Republicans are sounding the alarm on election security.
Fox 61 political reporter Emma Wolfhorst spoke with lawmakers on both sides of the aisle about their ideas. So, Emma, what are the Republicans proposing?
Well, Brent, Sarah, Republican legislators say majority Democrats just haven't done enough to increase election security, especially in wake of allegations of voter fraud in Bridgeport last September. Now they're reintroducing 5 measures they say would tackle voter fraud at the source.
We're here because we are concerned about the integrity of our elections, period.
Senate and House Republicans are calling for prompt action to increase election security in Connecticut.
The Democrats have failed to take the issue seriously enough and put the proper protocols and policies in place to fix it.
Republicans want to update voter rolls, prohibit unsolicited mailing of absentee ballot applications, impose a 1-year mandatory minimum prison sentence for election-related crimes, require a driver's license or photo ID copy in absentee ballots, and put a temporary ban on ballot drop boxes.
We constantly hear that there is no voter fraud going on in Connecticut. Well, obviously, as we've seen in Bridgeport, it does happen.
September's Democratic mayoral primary results in Bridgeport were thrown out after allegations of voter fraud. Republican legislators point to that as the most recent example of why these reforms are needed. But Democrats say they are addressing these concerns.
We've passed out of committee 2 very serious and robust bills to address election reform, especially in relation to the issues we saw this past fall in Bridgeport.
GAE committee co-chair Matt Blumenthal is talking about measures which would install video surveillance at all ballot drop boxes, keep better track of absentee ballots, limit the number of absentee ballot applications that can be circulated, and would mandate the State Elections Enforcement Commission refer any criminal cases to the chief state's attorney within 90 days.
Expeditious investigation and prosecution of any potential elections crimes is vital not only to transparency and accountability, but to adequate deterrence of potential wrongdoers and the public's trust that the state takes elections enforcement seriously.
When it comes to temporarily banning now controversial drop boxes,
we're not going to take any measure that impedes Connecticut voters' access to the ballot box.
Now, the GAE committee did advance the Republican bill requiring a mandatory minimum sentence of 1 year in prison for election crimes. But since the deadline for new bills has passed, Republicans say they'll be introducing those other ideas as amendments to the current election security bill once it's taken up on the floor. Sarah, Brent.
All right, Emma, thank you. Over to the basketball court now for Husky Nation. The UConn men are Phoenix-bound this week to play in their second Final Four in a row. The Huskies' quest for back-to-back championships is still alive after defeating Illinois on Saturday in convincing fashion, I might say. Up next, UConn faces Alabama on Saturday night, and the winner there takes on the winner of the North Carolina State and Purdue game next Monday in the national championship.
A lot of good basketball going on the next few days. Tonight, the UConn women look to get to the Final Four for the 23rd time in program history. The Huskies will face the USC Trojans in the Elite Eight. They beat Duke on Saturday in the Sweet 16. Game time is 9:15. The team is in Portland, Oregon, so you got to stay up late for this one.